Assalamu alaikum. This is lecture 13 of web design and development, and today we are going to discuss about server-side scripting and mainly focusing on PHP. So as you know, PHP is a server-side scripting language, and in this lecture we are going to discuss the basics of PHP language such as its syntax, variables and conditional statements. So if you recall how the web request and response cycle work, you can remember that from your browser you can initiate a request which will be sent to the server, and the server in response will generate an answer which will be sent back to the browser. So typically it is two-step process: request generation and getting the response back. Additionally, before sending a request, you can execute a script in the client side, which can be done using the JavaScript language. And when you execute a script on the server side, you may calculate something and you retrieve a data from a database server. So as depicted in the example, that you create a request from the client to the web server. Your web server contains a program that connects to database and requests the data from a MySQL or other databases. Then it converts the data to an HTML form and sends the data back to the client. And when that data is or response is sent back to the client may execute another script on the client side. So server-side scripts are computer programs on the web that are executed on the server side, usually used to provide the interactive website that interface to database or other data stores. And the most typical examples of web server-side scripts languages are PHP, ASP.NET, Perl, Ruby, and Java server pages along with the Python. For this course, PHP along with the Laravel platform will be used. Let's have a brief introduction about the PHP. PHP is a preprocessor hypertext language, and it was originally called Personal Home Pages Tool, named as PHP. So it is used to create the dynamic web pages, and it is a popular server-side scripting technology. It is open source, and anyone can view, modify, and redistribute the source code. It is platform independent, and you can run it on the any device or any virtual or actual machine. It is the interpreted language. That means you do not have to compile it before running it. Scripts are paused at the runtime rather than compiled beforehand. So it is compatible with many popular databases such as SQL, MySQL, and NoSQL databases. So it is very much similar to the C and C++, so there is not a great difficulty to learn the PHP language, and it supports both procedural and object-oriented paradigms. PHP integrates with the HTML very easily. PHP code can be embedded with the HTML code, and HTML code can also be embedded inside the PHP code. So PHP can also be written as a standalone program with no HTML at all. So you can use any of the combination of these three techniques. For example, you can use only a PHP file with no HTML, or you can embed the HTML in the PHP files. Usually PHP code is denoted in the page with the opening and closing tag. The opening tag is uh, less than sign, question mark PHP, and the closing sign is question mark and the greater than sign closing tag. Or it can be done using the second tag, which only uses the question mark. Another important consideration is that PHP statements also end with a semicolon. That means to end each statement you have to write a semicolon. You can add the comments like any other language. For example, if you want to add a single line comment, you can use the double slashes and slash asterisk for the multi-line comments. PHP requires a set of tools to run. For example, first of all, you would need a web browser and a web server. So you can download a web server. Uh, for example, you can download the WAMP. WAMP stands for Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP, and Perl server. So if you download an extension or an executable file of WAMP or a XAMPP, which is very much similar. X stands for any operating system and the rest is the same. You will be able to download an Apache server on which your application will run, MySQL database, and a PHP hypertext processor. So PHP and MySQL, two tools most importantly required in this course, will be downloaded if you install the web or web server. Additionally, you have to install the Laravel and other tools for the standardized development. You need a editor, and any text editor will work fine, or you can download a specialized IDE that you can use for the development. So it, for the purpose of this course, Sublime Text will work uh, very much to perform all the tasks. So you can download the Sublime Text editor for the writing of your code. PHP files usually have .php extensions, and the directory for the project is by default C slash any of your development version such as XAMPP or WAMP, and then you have the htdocs directory in which your websites will be stored by default. It is not a default location, or it is not a forced location for you. You can use any other location or directory to store your website. So look at the constants. A constant is a placeholder for a value that you reference within your code that is formally defined before using it. So to name the constant, you must begin with a letter or an underscore, and it is case sensitive and is named using all capital letters. PHP function define is used to assign a value to a constant. For example, you could define a value uh, to a variable name using this statement specified here. Variables are a little bit different in PHP than any other language. The most important consideration is the $sign, that each variable name starts with a $sign. For example, if you want a variable called name, you will write it $name. And the rest of the rules for the variable namings are same. For example, first character must be a letter or underscore. Remaining characters may be letters, numbers, or underscore. You don't need to declare or initialize the variable, just use the $name is equal to any value. Again, the variables are also case sensitive. Data type does not require to be declared explicitly. Whichever value you will assign the variable will have same type of data type. However, PHP supports number of data types such as floats, integers, boolean, strings, arrays, and object. So first variable definition $name Ali will be a string variable. Second variable definition $age will be equal to 20, and it will be a integer definition of a variable. There are many methods that help you to get and set the type of variables. For example, the most commonly used The getType function returns the type of a provided variable. If you want to inquire the data type of a variable, you can find out using the getType. So if you want to manually set the type of a variable, you can do it using the setType function, which converts a variable to the type specified by the setType function. Along with that, there are a lot of numbers of functions available for determining the variable's type. For example, is array will determine the variable that whether it is array or a single object. Is bool will determine that it is either true or false value. Default can be used to determine the floating, and in floating point values, and is integer is used to determine the integer values. Null check is performed using is_null method, and numeric values can be checked using isNumeric. Similarly, isString helps you to find out that the resultant variable is string or not. So operators work the same in PHP like any other language. The basic arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Similarly, assignment operators work the same, like is equal to use as assignment, and similarly you can use the plus equal to, minus equal to, multiply equal to, and divide equal to actually perform the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and assigning the variable to the left hand side of the equation. Similarly, dot equal to is used to add the operators if the operands are numbers, and it will concatenate if the operands are strings. String operators are similar, such as similar here. If you do use the dot operator, it will concatenate the string as described here. Similarly, the dot operator works same here, that $a dot is equal to ijk, and additionally a was this value, and then ijk was appended. Increment and decrement operators are described as here. Uh, Post increment and pre-increment are used similar like any other language. There are logical operators such as AND or NOT, which are similar here. Double AND is used for double ampersand is used for AND. Double bars is used for OR, and exclamation mark is used for NOT. Again, equality operator is double equal to and not equal to, and if you want to check the type of the equality operators, you can use the triple equal to operator. Similarly, greater than, less than, and less than equal to, and greater than equal to are used for the comparison operators. So similarly, language conditional statements work the same. If you want to use an if condition, you can write the statement if, and then you can provide any logical condition, and then parenthesis or single line will contain the if condition code. If else is used similar to other languages. Similarly, switch can be used to provide a multi-way if else statement. You can read the chapter 5 beginning PHP and MySQL book for further instruction of language basics in PHP. If you have any question, you can ask me through any of designated medium, or you can conduct a question and answer session.